There's so many great videos on YouTube about not making mistakes when buying a watch, or the mistakes not to make if you're deciding to become a watch collector, or people telling you about all the mistakes they've made. Well, I never watched any of those before I started collecting watches, so I made a lot of mistakes myself. But I have noticed that a lot of those videos, they kind of cover the same sort of things. And there are a few stones left unturned that I want to talk about from my personal experience. You know, making mistakes myself and not just repeating what I heard other people say. Watches are not cheap. They are very expensive. Even the cheapest watch is expensive. It is a luxury. A $15 Casio is a luxury. And you don't want to make a mistake where you've paid for something you really regret. Hey guys, I'm RNG, and don't make these mistakes when buying a watch. The biggest mistake I see people make when they buy a watch is they go for a GATA watch. In case you don't know, GATA means go anywhere, do anything. These are usually very unoffensive, safe watches that seem like they would work in almost any situation. They look a little sporty, they look a little dressy. You know what they usually look? Boring. That's right, they look flippin' boring. They can't stand out because they can't stand out. They have to work in every situation. Now, I've collected a lot of things in my life, but one thing I've collected more than anything else, even the video games you see behind me, are guitars. I have done a lot of session work. I've been a semi-professional guitarist for the last 20 years, and let me tell you, I spend a lot of time trying to find guitars that would do anything. You need to sound like a hard rock guitar. You need to sound like a country twang guitar. You need to sound like a crisp, clean funk guitar. So you end up buying a guitar that does all those things, okay, but none of them really will. And that's the problem with a GATA watch. It's a jack of all trades, a master of none. A lot like most of the kitchen appliances I have sitting in my house. How many times have my wife and I bought a combination rice cooker, pressure cooker, freaking slow cooker, air fryer? It has all these attachments and all these freaking things and all these settings, and it doesn't do any of those things as well as like any other soul make. Like a rice maker is just better. A crock pot is just better. An oven is just better. I feel like when you buy something like that, you never really mesh with it. It just never comes together. GATA watches aren't bad. If you're just gonna buy one watch, you're gonna get a GATA watch, most likely. But a watch, being a luxury item and all, is a reflection of your personality. Is your personality boring? Is it go anywhere, do anything like a 7 out of 10? Or is there something you do 10 out of 10? Pick a watch that does something for you 10 out of 10. Back in the day, people used to only have one watch. After World War II, they brought their military service watches home. They continued to wear them forever until they broke, and then they got something that was kind of like a dress watch, and they just kind of rocked that thing until like, I don't know, the 70s or 80s when like the sport watches came out. And then all of a sudden, every company told you that you needed different watches for different occasions. You needed an outdoor watch. You needed a go-to-work watch. You needed a special occasion watch. You needed a formal watch. And even to this day, we take watches and we put them in different freaking categories. This is a dive watch for diving. This is an adventure watch for going on adventures. GMT for flying. If you're gonna get on an airplane, you gotta wear a GMT, even though you're only flying one time zone away, you gotta do it. And that's cool. Watches are tools. Sometimes you need the right tool for the job, but most of us are just not doing those jobs often enough to warrant having a tool for it. You can drive a nail into a board using the backside of a drill. I've done it before. Did it work? Yeah. Was it the best way to do it? No. But I only needed to do it that one time in that circumstance. But you see these watches, you like the idea around them. You like the activities built around that style of watch. And sometimes you're just convinced you need one, even if you don't do that thing. I wanted a freaking Casio Pro Trek because I thought they looked cool, even though I have no reason to go out and go camping or hiking. I rarely ever do it. But in my mind, I was like, well, if I get this watch, it'll make me want to do those things. A perfect example of this is when you're gonna get married. You're engaged, you're in love, and you have to go set up your gift registry. You make a list of all the stuff that you want the people coming to your wedding to buy for you to start your life. And you spend hours going through silverware and china that you're never gonna use, and fondue pots that you're never gonna use, and table runners that you never use, and placemats that you never use. Like all this stuff. You don't need to check a list of every watch for every occasion. And this is specifically for a watch that's part of a collection, not a one and done watch. A lot of us have the idea of buying a strap monster watch. A watch that's very basic, that looks good on a variety of different straps. NATOs, pearl-on straps, freaking bracelets, leather bands, rubber, it doesn't matter. The watch works with everything. And I think that's very cool. The problem is people use strap monsters as a specific checklist watch in a collection. I've got to buy a freaking Omega Speedmaster because it works with every strap in the world. And in my head, I want a watch that I can switch out the straps all the time. That's a cool idea, and I've done that several times. But the problem is you're already so inundated with choices of the different watches you're gonna wear. Having a watch in like 10 different configurations just takes away more time from those other watches. We've all done it. We've bought more watches than we can even really wear in our rotation. I think I'm sitting at like 60 watches right now. I can barely ever wear them. And what I don't need is another watch in my collection where I'm gonna put it on a rubber strap one week, and then I'm gonna put it on a NATO the next week, and then I'm gonna put it on a bracelet the next week, and I'm gonna try all the different configurations. That takes the place of like 10 other watches. Running the rainbow is a term I've used since college for a lot of different collectibles hobbies. And that is where you find something you really love, like a G-Shock, and you love it so much that by God, you want it in every color, in every configuration. It's not cool enough to have the freaking Rolex GMT Pepsi. You also want the Sprite. You also want the root beer. You also want the zombie. Just different color configurations of the same thing. Just to show the watch your appreciation of it, to it, an inanimate object. You can see this video game collection behind me. I've bought the same game on multiple consoles. I have it on the PS4 and the PS5 and the Switch and the PC. Why? Do I need to do that? No, but like I just love the game so much. I just want to have them. You're gonna do that with like a $10,000 watch? You're gonna do that with a $100 watch? I did it with those games because I picked them up at like $20 a piece. But let me tell you, I go to my watch box and I see 4 of the same G-Shock squares just in a row, and it's cool. But I almost always just grab the same one every time. The first one, the one that was so good it inspired me to get those other colors. And I feel guilty wearing the other ones because I liked the first one so much. It's okay to like a watch and not have to buy it. Let's say you just have to have that freaking Rolex Submariner. Nothing will do it. That's the watch you have to have. That's the dream watch. That's the goal. Except that goal costs $13,000 and you don't have $13,000, but you need that watch. So you buy the cheap AliExpress watch for $100. It looks like the Submariner. And that's really cool. You love it the first couple days, but it's just not the right kind of watch. So you get the Seiko dive watch. Spend $300-400 on that. Think it'll tide you over. It's so much better than the AliExpress one. You're surprised by it. You wear it a couple months, that's not it. It doesn't do it for you. I'll just get a Breitling, that's it. I'll get a Breitling diver. I'll get a Super Ocean with a black bezel. It'll be as good as the Rolex. Let me tell you something, brother. You want that Rolex? Get you that Rolex. If you don't have a watch in the meantime, wear you a $15 Casio and save up to $13,000. Because trust me, I have spent thousands of dollars in my life buying Tide You Over or stopgap watches, hoping they make me not want the other watch, or they, like I said, satiate my appetite for it. It's happened 0 times. Do not go into debt to buy a watch. I don't care if it's a $50 watch or it's a $50,000 watch. Do not buy it on a credit card and pay interest on a watch. Never, ever pay interest on a luxury item, no matter what. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're a dishwasher making minimum wage or you're a billionaire and you decide to get a watch, you're gonna have to spend some money on it. And you wanna get something cool for your money. A lot of people will just jump to the end of their collecting journey. And I use the word journey very specifically because it is a journey. It is not a destination. I watched a video recently with Teddy Baldessar where Casey Neistat was on his channel, and Casey breaks everything he touches. He drops cameras all the time. He's rough on everything. He wears a G-Shock, but he got it in his head that he needed a Rolex, so he bought a freaking solid gold Rolex Submariner. He almost lost it, and then he just decided he didn't want to wear it. He jumped to the end of the journey. He did not appreciate what happened along the way. You have to gain appreciation for watches over time. It's a struggle. You start at the bottom and you work your way up so you can understand and appreciate all the different levels. And I don't understand how a lot of people with money don't understand that with watches. They understand that with other things. Rich people love to hike. They mountain climb. They sail. They scale Mount Everest. You know, they do all this hard stuff. They could just hire a helicopter to drop them there. They could drop them on the top of Mount Everest. They could freaking drop them at the end of the trail on the hike. They could just have a boat carry them to their destination when they're sailing. But they understand the value of going through the process of doing it. And I don't know why so many people don't get that with watches or things they buy. You appreciate nice things more when you've seen the things below them. I've known so many people in my life that when they turned 16, their parents bought them an inexpensive sports car, or they bought them a freaking nice watch, or they took them on some crazy vacation somewhere, and then the kid just sat there like playing their like a Game Boy, or today they would play on their phone. They don't appreciate it. You know why? Because they don't know how to appreciate it. They don't know how to appreciate things. How would they? They have nothing to compare it to. They were just given the best right out of the blue. Imagine all you've driven are like cars with 300,000 miles on them, and you're having to work on them every weekend to keep them running just so you can get to work. Bloody knuckles, freaking grease-stained fingers. You put in that time, you've put in that work. And then one day you save up and you buy your dream car. How good does that feel? You know that feels better than if someone just gave you that car without you ever putting in that work. And I think that's what's magical about watches. There are watches that are cheaper than a cheeseburger, and there are watches that are more expensive than a freaking cheeseburger franchise, and everything in between. And what you forget is that those steps along the way, they may give you more satisfaction than what was at the destination. Well guys, I hope you liked the video. I am RNG. This is a brand new camera. I'm trying to understand how to use it. I'm sorry if things look weird. I switched from 60 frames a second to 30 in the middle because the camera kept overheating. By the way, perfect example, this camera, the whole setup, $4,000. This is what I've been using. Started with a cell phone, then a $600 camera, now a $4,000 camera. I never would have appreciated this camera if I just bought it right away. I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you on the next one.